I wore my sister's dress. I walked down her aisle. I married her man. And for 2 years, nobody knew. Not him, not his family. The morning of the wedding, my sister left a note on the kitchen table. 3 sentences. I cannot do this. I am sorry. Do not look for me. My mother was shaking. My father could not speak. And my sister was already gone. I stood in that kitchen and looked at her dress hanging on the door, and I made the worst decision of my life. Or maybe the best one. I still do not know. I put on the dress. I said her name when they asked, and I became someone I was never supposed to be. That was the day everything changed. My name is Laura. My sister's name is Rachel. We were identical twins. Same face, same eyes, same voice almost. People confused us our whole lives. Teachers, neighbors, friends, even people who had known us for years still got it wrong sometimes. But we were never the same on the inside. Rachel was the loud one, bright, funny, confident, the kind of person who walked into a room and changed the energy of it. I was the quiet one, the one who sat at the back, the one who watched more than she talked. People liked me, but they loved Rachel. When James came into the picture, he came through our families. It was not a formal arrangement exactly, but both families knew each other. They thought James and Rachel would be good together. He had seen us both briefly, once at a family gathering. Like most people, he found it hard to tell us apart. Rachel always laughed about that. She used to say, "One day I will send you in my place and nobody will notice." I always laughed with her. I never thought she meant it. James and Rachel were introduced properly a few months after that gathering. They met, they talked, the families were happy. A wedding date was set quickly, deposits paid, invitations sent. Rachel seemed fine with it. Not excited exactly, but fine. I watched it all from the side, the way I always watched Rachel's life, quietly, from a distance. But here's the thing I never told anyone. The day I met James at that family gathering, before he was ever Rachel's, I had noticed him. Really noticed him. The way he listened when someone spoke. The way he was calm without being cold. The way he looked at people like they were worth his full attention. I noticed all of it. And then I stepped back, because he was not there for me. He was never there for me. So I put it away, somewhere quiet inside myself, and I left it there. I found the note at 7 in the morning. The wedding was at 11. Rachel's phone was off. Her bag was gone. Her passport was gone. She hadn't just left the wedding, she had left everything. I sat with my parents at that kitchen table for a long time. Nobody spoke. The food was ordered. The flowers were at the church. His family had traveled from far away. Everything was in place, except the bride. Then my mother looked at me. She didn't say a single word. She just looked at me, and I understood exactly what she was asking. I want to be honest about this. Nobody forced me. Nobody told me to do it. It was my choice. My terrible, complicated, selfish choice. I told myself I was doing it for my parents, for the shame, for the guests, for James standing at that altar with no idea what was happening. But underneath all of that, if I am being completely honest, I did it for myself, because I had never stopped thinking about him from the day I first saw him. I picked up the dress. My mother helped me into it without a word. Her hands were shaking. Mine were too. I fixed my hair the way Rachel wore it. I borrowed her perfume. I kept my face down during the walk down the aisle. My heart was beating so fast I was sure someone could hear it. The veil helped. It always helped. Even James had confused us once before, a moment Rachel had laughed about for weeks. When I reached him at the altar, he lifted my veil slightly and looked at me, really looked at me. And for one long, terrible second, I thought it was over. I thought he would see it. But he smiled, that warm, steady smile, and he took my hand, and the minister began. When they asked for the bride's name, I said Rachel. My voice did not shake. I do not know how. We signed the papers, we took the photos, we cut the cake, and when it was done, I was his wife. Not Laura, not me, Rachel, a woman who was probably sitting in an airport somewhere far away while I wore her ring. I told myself I would tell him that night, then after the honeymoon, then after the first month, then after we settled in properly. But James was not easy to leave. He was patient and calm. He made me laugh without trying. He never raised his voice. He was the kind of man who noticed small things. When you were tired, when something was wrong, when you needed quiet instead of conversation. I had never been seen like that before, not even by my own family. I was always the other twin, the quiet one, the one who blended into the background. But with James, I was simply myself, and he paid attention to every part of it. The longer it went on, the more I understood why losing it would destroy me. So I kept the secret, and I kept becoming Rachel one small day at a time. Before we continue the story, let's learn the meaning of some key words we have seen so far. Identical. Exactly the same in every way, with no differences at all. Arrangement. A plan or agreement made between people, often organized by others. Veil. A thin piece of fabric worn over the face, especially by a bride at a wedding. Hesitation. A pause before doing or saying something, usually because of uncertainty or fear. Foundation. The base on which something is built, can be a building or a relationship. Now that you have learned some of the key words, let's continue with our story. We had a real life together. Not perfect, but real. We argued sometimes, about small things mostly, money, plans, whose turn it was to call the landlord. Normal things, the kind of arguments that only happen between two people who are genuinely building something. He trusted me completely. That was the part that hurt most. He told me things he said he had never told anyone else. Old fears, old mistakes, the father who left when he was 9, the job he failed at before this one. He gave me the honest version of himself every single day, without hesitation. And every day I gave him a version of me built on a lie I was too afraid to correct. Some nights I lay awake listening to him breathe, and I thought, he thinks he knows who I am, but he doesn't even know my real name. 2 years after the wedding, I heard a knock at the door on a Wednesday afternoon. James was at work. I opened the door, and Rachel was standing there. Same face as mine, older looking now, tired, one bag at her feet. She looked at me, then at the house behind me, then slowly back at my face. She understood everything in about 5 seconds. Her mouth opened slightly, then closed. I stepped outside and pulled the door shut behind me. We sat on the front step. She did not shout. She did not cry. She just looked at me for a long time. the way only a twin can look at you, like she was looking in a mirror that had lived a completely different life. Then she said, "How long?" 2 years, I said. Does he know? No. She looked away down the street, then quietly, "Laura." Just my name. Nothing else. But the way she said it carried everything. The shock, the guilt, the strange part of her that almost understood. "You have to tell him," she said. "I know," I said. And this time, I meant it. After Rachel left that evening, I sat in the kitchen alone. I looked at everything around me. His coffee cup on the counter, his jacket on the chair, the photo of us on the wall from a trip we took last summer. I thought about the morning of the wedding, that kitchen, that note, that dress on the door. I had told myself so many times that I did it for everyone else. But sitting there 2 years later, I finally stopped lying to myself. I did it because I wanted to. I wanted him. I wanted that life. I wanted to finally be the one who was chosen, not the background twin, not the quiet one, just me. And I had taken that without asking if I had the right. That was my truth, and it was time to stand inside it. I told him on a Thursday evening, after dinner. He was relaxed, happy even. He had had a good day at work, and I hated that. I hated that I was about to break something good. But I sat across from him and said, "James, I need to tell you something. Please let me finish before you speak." His face changed. He put his cup down. "I am not Rachel," I said. The room went completely quiet. "My name is Laura. I am her twin sister. Rachel left the morning of the wedding. I put on her dress. I walked down the aisle. I said her name, and I never told you the truth." He did not move. He did not speak. He just looked at me for a very long time. I watched something move across his face. Confusion first, then understanding, then something I could not name. He stood up slowly. He walked to the window. He stood there with his back to me. I watched his shoulders, the way they held the weight of what I had just given him. I did not go to him. I just waited. He did not speak that night. He slept in the spare room. I lay in our bed, staring at the ceiling. I did not sleep. The next morning, he was already in the kitchen when I came out. He had made coffee. 2 cups. He did not look at me, but he had made 2 cups. I sat down. We were quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Was any of it real?" I looked at him directly. "All of it," I said. "Every single day. Everything I felt was real. The only lie was the beginning. I am sorry. I am sorry I took that choice away from you." He looked down. His jaw was tight. "I need time," he said. "I know," I said. "Take whatever you need." He asked for 1 week. I stayed. He stayed. We moved around each other carefully, quietly. On the 7th day, he sat across from me. His eyes were tired, but clear. "I have been trying to figure out," he said, "when exactly I fell in love with you. Not Rachel. You. The way you laugh too loud at your own jokes. The way you check the door twice before bed. The way you always leave the last cup of coffee for me without saying anything. Those things were never Rachel. I know that now. They were always you." I could not speak. "What you did was wrong," he said. "I am not going to pretend it was not. You lied to me for 2 years, and I have to decide if what we built together is worth more than how it started." He was quiet for a long moment. Then, "I think it is. But we do this honestly from now on. No more hiding, no more pretending, just us, the real version. I nodded. I could not find words big enough, so I just said, just us. I learned something that year. You cannot build a real life on a false foundation and expect it to hold forever. The truth always finds its way out. Always. The only question is whether you let it out yourself or wait for it to explode. Rachel and I had the same face, but he fell in love with mine, not because of how I looked, because of who I was when nobody was watching. The quiet twin, the one who sat at the back, the one nobody ever chose first. He chose me, eyes open, knowing everything. And that, after a lifetime of being second, was everything. Comprehension check. Let's check how well you followed the story. Choose the correct answer for each question and write your answers in the comments below. Question 1. Why did Laura put on Rachel's wedding dress? A. Rachel asked her to do it the night before. B. She left a note and disappeared the morning of the wedding. C. Her mother told her it was the right thing to do. Question 2. How did Rachel find out what Laura had done? A. James called her and told her everything. B. She read about it in a letter Laura sent her. C. She came to the house 2 years after the wedding and figured it out herself. The correct answers are in the pinned comment below. How did you do? Tell us in the comments. Thank you for listening to this story. If it touched your heart, please like the video, share it, and subscribe to the Story Reading in English channel. Your support helps more stories reach people like you. With every story, our English gets better and our hearts get stronger.